So this is the newest bed, partially filled. You'll see some of this being done through the course of this video. So now for the rest of it and an update, let's get growing. So moving along next door, we've got the broccoli coming in here, and we're starting to see some heads developing in there. So they're probably only a couple of weeks away from being able to harvest something. Little marigold in there still ticking along. Sammy, the supervisor's just come along to check out and see what I'm doing, and as she came out I just saw a cabbage moth fly off, so another dose of dipel will be required here, I reckon. If I looked hard enough I'd find some. So the collies are banging away very nicely, the garlic in between starting to stretch its legs to get the sunlight, and I've got to do a little bit more weeding. There's a few nettles and things coming up through there, but that's just each morning job. As I come out I pull a few out. I have harvested some turnips this week. A couple of the turnips were ready to go, so we got invited out on Sunday night, for dinner, and it was a roast. And I don't eat turnips, but the people who invited us out are English and they love them, so they got a couple of turnips to have with their tea. Onions in the middle there are starting to stretch out a little bit. The beetroot is going quite well. Carrots are cooking away. Silver beet or Swiss chard, whatever you would like to call it. I'm going to dig some of these up and transplant them, and also I've got some friends who want some as well. The lettuces are starting to come away enough to be able to think about starting to harvest, and the parsnips are still going on. I'm ecstatic with the parsnips. Again, it's something I don't eat, but I have friends who do. So the bed over here where I harvested the corn, you will see through the video I've planted some onion seedlings, but I've also now down here got a row of onions in. The broad beans are still ticking away. Another one coming up here now, and I've planted broad beans in through this area over here. And I've been munching on radishes each morning. There's some very nice sized ones coming in there now, so I'm having a little munch on a few radishes every morning when I come out. Sammy's, as usual, being very helpful. So the sweet corn that was harvested from here came up very nicely. I've had 2 meals now with that sweet corn in it. The Sunday night roast that we went out for, I also sent some sweet corn in with the turnips, and we had some roasted corn on the cob. And the day I shucked them, we had some boiled corn or steamed corn on the cob along with mash and chops. And although it probably wasn't quite as sweet as some of the really sweet stuff I've stated, it was delicious. Okay, so we have the corn harvest, and to be very careful saying this, let's get shucking. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure some of these are not going to have very much on them because they feel quite small, but some of them are going to be very nice. So the greenery will go to the compost. Very small one, but I'm sure they'll be tasty. If anybody knows if there's a proper way to do this that's quick and easy, let me know. Small one, but some very nice beefy kernels on here. I'll do the one I opened up and check. Little bit of insect dirt in there, probably because I opened it up. I would say be a fair assumption, I would have thought, because these are all quite tight up the top. I blame YouTube for opening it up. Somebody I watched on YouTube, I can't think who it was, showed me that you could open the... That was not bad. Okay, so they're not the biggest cobs in the world, but, and that one's, you know, half a mouthful. But I've got some nice edible looking corn there. I'm not unhappy with that, especially considering how late I planted it. Wash them up, we'll have some for dinner, and blanch and freeze the rest. Okay, so to get my succession planting back in step a little bit, because I've got the big onions in the second bed over here. So I bought some onion seedlings yesterday. So they're going to go in this trench over here. And then I'll plant a row of onion seeds along here. So I'll have 3 different stages of onions. So I'm not sure which, one of the YouTube channels I watch, they washed all the dirt off the onion seedlings so that you could just pull them out like that to plant them, and then they just laid them in the trench. So that's how I'm going to do this, because it looks really easy and I reckon that'll work very nicely. So I'll come back after I've finished. Okay, so the onion seedlings are in. The supervisor was here for some of it, so I was not unsupervised. So let's see how they go. Okay, now the onion seedlings are in. There's also now a row of onion seeds across there, which will give me some succession planting with onions. The older ones in that bed, the seedlings and the seeds, so they should all come on a few weeks apart, which will be great. The last stage of the current replant of bed 1 is I'm going to put more broad beans in here where Sammy, the supervisor, is. She's been a great help. The beans have been soaking for 48 hours in rainwater, and they'll go in today, and I'll have a munch on a radish as well. Okay, so I had a little harvest on the corn last week. So this week I think there's a couple of turnips here that are ready to harvest, from what I understand, because I'm not a turnip eater, but they're talking about 2 inches or 50 mil, so there's a couple of here that are well past that. So I think I'm going to harvest that, because we've got a couple of friends, we're going out for tea on Sunday night, and I know they're lovers of turnips, so I'll harvest them and they can go in for them as well. So there we go, a couple of turnips ready to go in. So another harvest from the bed. The leaves will go very nicely for compost. Okay, so this is stage 1 of doing a new bed. So I've laid down cardboard, and I've sat the box in place reasonably in line with the previous bed, which is nowhere near in line with the bed before that, but that's okay, I can live with that. Stage 1. Next stage is to get some wood to fill this up to about a foot, or 300 mil deep. Okay, so now we have the bean straw in there. I will put now probably a couple of loader buckets full of filling sand from the old garden beds in there. Then on top of that I'll get some chook manure, and I think I will probably put on top of that just a thin layer of garden soil, because the chook manure is a bit chunky and takes a while to break down, so it won't be a good seed bed to sow into. So I just need to make sure I've got something that's going to be good to sow into. Through the process, once I start putting the soil in there, I'm going to be wetting each layer down. Okay, so now I've got a bucket full of soil from the old garden bed to go in on top of the bean straw. Probably a couple or 3 bucket loads will go in there just to fill up, and then I'll get some chip manure and maybe even be able to get some sheep manure to go on top to plant into.